Hi, this is Mohammed Ahmed, and this is my research phase for procedural generation in MI 431. My tutorial was based around weapon generation. I wanted to be able to make weapons like the type you see in Terraria and Borderlands with like random attributes. To get right into the demo, I have a weapon factory here that can generate a grid of weapons. Like as you see here, I'll talk a little bit about the weapons as they appear, but these are the procedural generated weapons. They have a couple pieces to them. They have if I use this one as an example, I have a blade, a hilt, and a handle. Um, each of these components are sprites. So like if I open this up, look, it's like a sprite render for each of these, and these sprites come from an asset pack I got with hundreds and hundreds of like sword pieces in them. But I go into a pixel editor and I break them down and I get each sprite and then I layer them on top of each other into one game object. It works like this because if I were to like if I take this guy and I open the sprite editor, I can show you. So whenever you change the local position of something to zero, um, oh shoot, I should probably close that. Yeah, whenever you change the position of something to zero, especially when it pertains to a sprite, is that it centers it at this anchor point right here. So the way the tutorial explained it is if you have like this is a handle, and then you also have like I'll open a blade too. If you put all three of these pieces, the handle, the blade, and the hilt, it's like putting a needle through this hole, so they all stack on top of each other. So for each of these sprites, I had to go into them and then move the anchor point to like a suitable place so that the handle, for example, starts here and goes down, and the blade starts here and goes up. So it's all in one piece, and it's all randomly generated too. So I'll do a code walk in a second, but it randomly picks the weapon factory randomly picks a bunch of like weapons to pick from a list. So like right here, like this is all the prefabs with those sprites in them, and then it mix and matches them, and then it connects them all together. The particle system was done a little bit differently. Instead of randomly picking those, the particle system depends on the color of the blade, which I'll show in a second. But as you can see, for some of these, like this guy is mostly red, brown, and yellow, so that's what the particles look like. If I go to one of these blue guys, yeah, right here, like this blade is mostly blue, so it'll get blue particles. And this one's like green and in orange and yellow, so you'll get a little bit of that too. So that is not random. It's generated by the blade color. In the tutorial, uh, all that was used were like stats. So it was like attack power and like durability. That's kind of boring and doesn't really show. It's not really like that cool to show like random numbers. So I figured if I could do like a particle system on each of them, which uses like the shader I used in the visual scripting portion, I feel like that'd make it look a lot nicer. But what Blade does is it contributes to the colors of the particle system. And something I learned was that you can actually get colors from textures, um, even if they're pixel art. So I have a script here that says get common colors, and what it basically does is that it gets the pixels in the texture, and it makes a dictionary counting them. So like your basic every time you find it, you increment that key by one, and this uses the a link query which lets you like do stuff with dictionaries and whatnot. But yeah, that essentially you get all of them, and then you order it from most to least, and that's where I get those three most common colors. And then from there, I just apply a gradient. So the particle system, I'll grab that, and then I'll add keys. Where's the keys? Right here. I'll add like alpha keys for the amount of colors. So that's usually just three of them, and then I make them like I think it's from this code makes so it's like left from right. So like the leftmost key in the gradient is the most common, and the right is the least common. So a couple things I learned. I learned about the link query in C Sharp. From what I understand, it is kind of like list comprehension in Python. It lets you like manipulate lists and get certain attributes from some certain data structures, which is nice. It's convenient. I learned a little bit more about textures and pixels. There's still a lot to be learned because I find that the anchor thing I mentioned it doesn't align the pixels perfectly, so I have to have some kind of like pixel perfect kind of like adjustment to make those look better. For creative editions, I kind of want to talk about how I make these. So if I go here, like whenever I want to make a sword, I get like like first what I have to do is I go into the asset pack and I'll like grab like a sword. Like if I just grab like I don't know, this one looks good. I'd start with this, right? And then if I wanted to make it look nice, you kind of have to get rid of this border. So like I'd erase this border, for example. Like pretend I just erased all this. And after that, I have to take it and I have to extract each piece. So like I'll get rid of the blade so I can like just get the handle, and then I'll export the handle, and I'll like Control Z that, and I'll do go back and get the blade. There's a lot of like just sprites in there, and if I ever wanted to do this for like more than just like the few I was given, it would take a really long time. So one of the creatives I want to do is to have it cut individual parts for me, like I don't know, import some kind of tool, and then the algorithm could be like, oh, if you see this color, it's probably the outline, and I want you to delete that, and it'll delete it for me. And on that note too, what if I could have a thing where parts can be drawn, like pixel art could be drawn for me using like machine learning. Like I was in CEC 404 last semester. We learned a lot about like how we can use perceptrons to like identify like what pixels are typically next to other pixels when drawing something. So that's something else I feel like I'll dabble in. I know that we're given like I think it's 2 weeks and then spring break to do it, so I'll have plenty of time. But I'll do what I can from what I understand. But it would be very helpful to do that. But yeah, this is my stuff. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.